which water system is right for you. Throughout my travels, I talk with a lot of customers that are using their combo truck or their jetter to clean sewer lines, whether it's sanitary or storm. And they're running a truck that might not be optimal for their application. A lot of customers buy the standard water system where they're always running the same flow and pressures, and they never really give it a thought as to what water system really fits my needs. So today I'm not doing a sales pitch. I'm giving you information, and this information can be used to help save you time, which helps save you money. When we talk about a water system, we're talking about flow and pressure. So when we talk about flow, that's the volume. That's what helps carry material down the pipe. And pressure is scouring the wall or cleaning that pipe. So flow and pressure are both very important, but it doesn't mean that you need the most flow possible or the most pressure possible. I know that the guys that are doing stormwater, they're typically cleaning bigger pipe. Now, with that bigger pipe, you do want a good amount of flow to help carry that material down that large pipe. Now, this video today, what I'm talking about really fits those guys where 80% of the time, they're gonna be doing sanitary stuff and they're going with an 8-inch diameter pipe to a 12-inch diameter pipe for 80% of the work they're doing. So they're a relatively small pipe that they're cleaning at least 80% of the time. In that scenario, this video is going to be really important for you because I'm going to break down what flow and pressure is really the best for you and what optimizes your time over top of the manhole. Flow is measured in gallons per minute, where pressure is going to be measured in pounds per square inch. So when we talk about a water system, we're going to talk about flow at pressure. So some really popular water systems are 80 gallons per minute at 2,000 PSI, or 80 at 2,500 PSI, 50 at 3,000 PSI, 60 at 3, 30 at 3. You have options. So when we talk about these water systems today, I'm talking flow at pressure. For my first example, we're gonna talk about an operator named Darrell. Now, Darrell's running a combo truck and he has 1,300 gallons of water. He fills up 5 times a day. Now, he's running a 50 gallon per minute at 3,000 PSI water system. And again, these guys are cleaning 8 to 12-inch pipe. When he fills up at that hydrant, fills up 1,300 gallons worth, running 50 gallons per minute at 3,000 PSI, he has 26 minutes of runtime. Every time he fills up at that hydrant completely full, he's got 26 minutes over top of the manhole. Now, throughout the span of a day, he runs 5 fill-ups. He's gonna have 2 hours and 10 minutes of runtime over top of the manhole just for his water. So that's Darrell with 50 gallons per minute at 3,000 PSI, cleaning 8-inch to 12-inch pipe. Now, my other example, the operator's name is Todd. And Todd's running an 80 gallon per minute at 2,500 PSI water system. He's doing the same job as Darrell, 8-inch to 12-inch pipe, but he's putting 80 gallons a minute at 2,500 PSI through the system. So now, 1,300 gallons on his combo truck, he's picking up water 5 times a day. His runtime per fill-up is 16.2 minutes. Now, throughout the span of a day, Todd has 1 hour and 21 minutes of runtime, compared to Darrell's 2 hours and 10 minutes. And again, they're doing the same job. Todd's using 80 gallon per minute at 2,500 PSI, and Darrell is running 50 gallon per minute at 3,000 PSI. Now, Darrell and Todd are both doing the same job for 5 days a week. They're both running 8-inch to 12-inch lines. They both have 1,300 gallons of water on board, and they're both filling up 5 times a day at the hydrant. Darrell has 49 minutes over top the manhole more than Todd does per day. Now, that doesn't seem crazy, but if we look at those stats over a week, this is what we're looking at. If we look at those stats over a month, this is what we're looking at. If we look at those stats for a year, this is what we're looking at, that Darrell is spending this much time over top the manhole more than Todd, running his 80 gallons per minute. That's over 8 days. Those runtime numbers are huge, and we know that because time is money, and Darrell is spending so much more time over top the manhole than Todd. So we are saving a lot of time, which is saving a lot of money. But Darrell has some conveniences that Todd does not. Let's go through some of those. The big convenience that Darrell has is his hose diameter. Darrell gets to run 3/4 inch hose where Todd has to run 1-inch hose. Now, these measurements of the inside diameter of their sewer jet hose on the front of the truck. Now, why is 3/4 inch hose such a nice thing to have? Well, one, it's more pliable, it's more flexible, which makes Darrell's job a lot easier when he's winding hose back onto his hose reel. But there's some other things that go along with that too. It's lighter. So a roll of 800 feet of hose is 70 pounds lighter with 3/4 inch as opposed to 1-inch hose. The other thing that's nice is this hose, with it being lighter, flies up the line a lot faster than 1-inch hose because the nozzle doesn't have to drag so much weight behind it. The other nice thing is this will slide through inverts a lot easier too. So if you're sliding and doing double manhole runs, you can slide this through an invert in that manhole a lot easier than sliding 1-inch hose with a nozzle on it through that invert. Both these hoses do a great job, but if I had a preference, I would go with 3/4 inch because it makes my job so much easier. Now, if we're cleaning this 8 to 12 inch pipe and we're using 50 gallons per minute at 3,000 PSI, here's the silver lining. If you run a triplex water pump, like a lot of the water pumps we put on a vac on, you can change that flow. So if you switch from a sanitary department and now that truck's gonna be using the stormwater side, you can switch that water pump to push heavier flow and go to 1-inch hose and change it out. It's easy to do. But if I'm cleaning 8 to 12 inch pipe and I'm doing mainly sanitary work, and maybe I kick up and do some pipes that are a little bit bigger, it still handles it. If I'm doing 80% of my job in that 8-inch to 12-inch range, this is the hose that I would prefer, that 3/4 inch. Before we jump back into the statistics, there's one more thing that's a good thing to understand, and that is a variable flow valve. So your combo truck can be fit with a variable flow valve. So you could be set up with a 50 gallon per minute water system at 3,000 PSI, but you can dump some of that flow back to the tanks with a variable flow valve. So instead of using 50 gallons per minute with 10 5-gallon buckets going through every 60 seconds, you can use 30 gallons per minute. So in that case, we have 6 5-gallon buckets going through every 60 seconds. Or if you're fit with an 80 gallon per minute water system, you can use your variable flow valve to jump down to 50 gallons per minute or 30 gallons per minute as well and save that water and spend more time over top of the manhole. Let's get back to our example of Darrell running 50 gallons per minute and Todd running 80 gallons per minute. They're both using trucks with 1,300 gallons of water on board, and they're both filling up 5 times a day. And the goal is spending as much time over top of that manhole and less time going back and forth to the hydrant to get water. So if we look at the hours that they're putting in over top of the manhole, Darrell with 50 versus Todd with 80, we're looking at this many hours per day. And now this is 30 gallons per minute, 50 gallons per minute, and 80 gallons per minute to give you the full stats. This is the hours per year that Darrell and Todd are spending over top of that manhole. This is when time really becomes a big number, and we're looking at how much time we can spend over top of that manhole and saving money. We want to help you be as productive and efficient as possible. And Darrell, with 50 gallons per minute, he's cleaning. And that's the goal. We want to clean these lines, and we want your debris tank to look just like this, full of debris and out of that line. So if you're cleaning 8-inch to 12-inch pipe for 80% of your job, maybe more, maybe less, you need to look at the numbers. The numbers don't lie. And water is a resource. Water takes time to run back and forth to the hydrant, and time is money. So refer to these numbers and make sure that you're running a water system that's right for your application. If you have any questions, go ahead and shoot me a message, or you can just comment on this video. As always, work safe and buy vac on.